Good morning,
Good afternoon.
good evening, wherever you are, and happy anniversary plus 1 day, Shya.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we've been married 41 years. Are you
Yes.
listening? Are you younger than we've been married? Are you older? I find it amazing. It's happened in a blink of an eye.
In a blink of an eye. Well, there's a song that says,
Don't blink. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy we didn't procrastinate, that we actually
Got married?
Yeah, we went for this thing because it's been a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't be here with you if we hadn't stepped into our lives. So how about you? Procrastinate much?
Well, look, let's talk about listening first.
I love it.
Because we don't listen. We think about what's being said. We agree or disagree or have a better idea.
Or we don't think about what's being said at all.
That's true.
I
The other
had to-
thing you can do is you can add your good idea to what's been said.
That's true. I noticed today when we were at, which I am kind of adding my good idea, but I noticed today at breakfast while you were speaking with me, I was in the midst of an ongoing conversation. I had gone for a walk.
Not with me.
No, I'd gone for a walk and I'd been very inspired, and a whole bunch of new possibilities for podcast titles and descriptions and things I wanted to came up, and they were running.
Mm-hmm.
So as you looked at me and started talking to me, I looked at you, but
As though you were listening.
Correct. So I had to purposefully, intentionally bring my attention to what you were saying.
You had to hold what you were saying to yourself in abeyance.
So
or let it go entirely.
If that's you today, that is not a failing on your part. This is the starting place for where we are today. If you are already very attentive, that's the starting place for where you are today. It really is about being here for whatever your life has to offer, which includes your thought process and your way of being in any given moment.
Yes. I was going to talk about something and I completely forgot it when I was listening to you.
You are the best.
Let it go.
Yes.
Let it go. Yeah.
And one of the things that we've discovered is that when you really let something go, if it is ripe, it will bob back up to the surface and come back again.
Oh, if what's need to be said is ripe. Yes.
Yeah. So today's episode, of course, is about procrastination.
Uh-huh.
And how it's so frequent to look, I should do this, and then shunt it off to the side and avoid the things.
Now I remember what I was going to say.
Thought it was going to come back.
So let's talk about listening first. It's about not being told what to do.
Okay.
That's the essence of what I want to talk about. But listening brings you into the current moment of your life.
Yes.
When you let go of your thinking about what's being said, and I know that sounds impossible, but it can be done. It's like walking. You know how to walk, but you don't know how you walk. It's something that you can do. Well, letting go of your thought process is to hear what another has to say is a possibility, but you've got to listen. So there's this thing called, so listening isn't agreeing or disagreeing. Listening isn't adding your good ideas. It isn't seeing whether you have a different point of view. It's about actually taking on the point of view of the person who's speaking, allowing it to come into you without filtering it through your system of judgments or agreements and disagreements. I had the honor of going fishing yesterday on a river in Pennsylvania with a fishing guide. And he was talking to me about his whole life. and he wasn't listening. He would tell me how his father said the same things over and over again. Well, when you actually listen to somebody, you take what they're saying away from them because you hear it. But if you agree or disagree, they're stuck with it. In any event, procrastination. Look, none of us like to be told what to do.
Even by ourselves.
Exactly. So you or your thoughts or the voice you listen to says, oh, I have to sweep the floor. And you say, I can wait till tomorrow.
And sometimes that's true. That's fine.
Or actually, it says I have to sweep the floor, and it says I have to wait till tomorrow because it's the same voice, you see. The voice that tells you have to quiet your voice is that voice.
Now, let's talk about the 3 principles of instantaneous transformation before we go grab our first guest, because they're so important here. Anything you resist persists, grows stronger, and dominates your life. That's the first principle.
So anything you resist, you keep in place.
So,
by the way, Ariel and I do finish each other's sentences. So if you think I'm interrupting her, I am.
So why I wanted to go to the 3 principles here, so much fun, is that we're talking about procrastination, and I bet virtually everybody judges themselves for procrastinating when they do. So
very good. So the judgment is a resistance to being procrastinating, and so it keeps you procrastinating.
Great. So second principle is life shows up as it does. So you have the idea, I can sweep that tomorrow. And you can, or you can just go ahead and sweep the floor now. Now, here's the thing. Chances are you have a judgment about your actions one way or the other. You judge yourself for letting it go, or you judge yourself for wanting to let it go, or you judge yourself as a good person for not letting it go.
But if you resist it, you keep it in place. So by the other way, the other thing is this: you were trained in life. You were inculcated, brought into a culture of people who procrastinate. And so that's a normal way of being. So you just learned how to procrastinate. And we don't like more to do, so if it seems like more to do, we resist it. And anyway, that keeps you with a lot to do, and you never get it all done.
Third principle.
Anything you allow to, yes. Anything you allow to be exactly as it is completes itself in that moment. So when you resist what there is to be done, life shows up exactly as it does. Second principle. Can you be different than you are in that moment? Absolutely not, because each moment you can only be exactly as you are in the current moment. Well, that's a conundrum, because in the past, it was your current moment, and you could only do it that way in your past, but you complain about it, thinking you should have done it differently. That's the story of life. Anyway, I think we've said enough.
All right, let's take our guest.
Yes.
All right, Mary, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, this is Mary. I'm zooming in from Brooklyn, New York.
So nice to be with you today, Mary.
Thank you. You too. You just about in your intro replicated what I was thinking. That procrastinating is one of my favorite ways to pick on myself, and I also realize that I procrastinate when I come to a point where I'm not sure how to do the next thing. And
I'm sure that's accurate, by the way. If you're not sure how to do the next thing, you're not procrastinating, but you're not doing anything in that moment. Very interesting thing. Yesterday morning, I woke up. So I have to give you a little background. About a month or so ago, Ariel and I went fishing in Puerto Rico. And the fishing guy, well, he was getting a tarpon off of my line. The fish jerked and his hand hit the rod and the rod tip broke. So these are 4-piece fishing rods. I got in touch with the manufacturer and they sent me a new tip rod to put on my rod so I could fish. However, I had the piece of broken tip and the rest of it. And so I just set it aside. A month goes by, and in the middle of the night, this idea comes to me how I could fix that uh, fly rod tippet or tip. And so I got up that morning and found a piece of stainless steel wire that I use for leader for fishing. It's kind of thick. And I cut a piece of it and slip it in between the two broken pieces, and it fit perfectly. And then I put some epoxy in there and put it together. But I wasn't procrastinating doing it. I didn't know how to do it. So I didn't push on myself to do something that I wasn't going to do. See, procrastinating is what I didn't do this morning. When I finished cooking breakfast and we finished eating, I washed the dishes. Then I saw that the stovetop was dirty. So I washed the stovetop. Then I saw that there was debris from the preparation of breakfast on the floor. So I swept the floor. None of it was procrastinating because it needed to be done and I did it. Procrastinating was, oh, I don't want to do that.
See, I have a feeling, Mary, that you have analyzed your actions or lack of actions, and you've come up with a reason why you're wrong. And it's, yes, and it's inaccurate. Yes, I'll bet you there are certain things to do, like you have the thought, I should find more pop-up craft shows that I can go and sell my, I'm adding this word, beautiful jewelry, because you never say that to yourself, you just say my jewelry. And then you don't do it, you say, well, I don't know how to find more places. Well, you don't look in the moments you have no intention of looking.
The other thing is this, Mary. You are not your thoughts. You think you're your thoughts. Mm-hmm. You think that you are the voice that calls itself Mary.
That says, I don't want to.
That's right. But what if that's just a voice? I remember when I was a kid, my mother used to say something over and over. She'd say, I'm so tired. Well, she may have been so tired, but I think it was just when she didn't know what to say, she said, I'm tired.
Like when she disengaged,
Right.
That's what filled in, and then that's what came out.
That's right.
I understand that.
See, and we listen to our thoughts as though those thoughts are us.
I'm wondering if some of the time when you say, oh, I don't know how to do this, it's really code for I don't have any desire to do it right now, but I think I should.
I can get that.
I agree with that. I think I definitely think that's true. And I had another thought because I was on a Monday night Living Made Easy, and we were talking about my penchant for complaining.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that, and the next couple of days I was looking, and it's like there's a part of me that does not want to give it up. And I thought, what's that about?
Well, what part of you is that? Is that your hand?
My mind.
Well, you say my mind, but you mean the voice that you listen to, that you think is you, doesn't want to give it up. Of course not. It's a control freak.
We all have a dictator.
That's right. It's a dictator. Tells us what we're allowed to do, how we're supposed to be.
I know we've spoken about this before, Mary, but I'm certain there are people who haven't heard that episode or read that book of ours. We often think of life like a panini machine, which is a fancy grilled cheese maker. So you have two pieces of bread
Grilled cheese sandwich maker.
maker. So you have whatever filling you want, and you smush it all together, and the machine smushes it and toasts it and heats it up. When it comes out of the machine, then even if you open up the two pieces of bread, the cheese is now melded into the bread. Your mind has cataloged years and years of Mary being successful,
including
her complaints. So now you've got, oh, I complained my way all to that particular expo or that particular sales thing, and suddenly I not only sold more jewelry than ever I sold before, I got a few new possibilities for trunk shows in people's homes. So it smushed it all together, and the mind thinks, oh man, I will not be successful
if I don't complain, I will not be successful.
I have to have all of it. It's part of the schematic now for success. So it's not surprising when you don't want to let go of that, or it doesn't want to let go of that.
Well, look, it's the known. You see, it's familiar, and you survive with it. Now, the unknown is not familiar, and it's frightening. And
Yes.
you survive. So why be frightened by life? Just keep going the way you're going, complaining away, not happy. See, look, there's a couple of things. One, you can live in your experience of the moment, and that's right now. Or you can live in your thoughts about the moment. Now, thoughts are one step removed from the moment. There's the moment, and then there's the thoughts about it. So you're never really here when you're lost in your thoughts. You're in your thoughts about the future and how you're going to die.
Mhm.
Did I get you with that one?
Yep.
Or about the past and what you should have done differently.
Chances are it's not just the future and I'm going to die. It's what happens if I get sick before I die. Who will take care of me? Will I have enough money? What are about my
All that,
resources?
That's what I
Right.
was going to say.
Yeah.
When I said you die, because we'll all die,
Yeah.
It's
But most of us worry about the stages. Well, I can't say that. A lot of us worry about the stages before, and the rest of us worry about what's going to happen after, where we're going to go.
well,
Have we been good enough people to go to the high place as opposed to the fiery place?
well, what if there is no high place and there is no fiery place? They've got this telescope that can look out into the universe from billions of light years away, and they haven't found an old man up there.
I know. What can I
It's
say?
strange.
Yeah. There's something, you really hit it when you were talking about the familiarity of being uncomfortable or being complaining, because there's just something my voice tells me about it. If it's too easy,
Can't be good.
right? Exactly.
Now, here's the thing. You said it really well. You said familiar, as in family. See, the thoughts you listened to were generated from the culture you grew up in. You have a 4-year-old granddaughter who has now learned to speak the English language quite fluently.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yes.
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 But what she talks about is things that are known in her culture, in her family. She learned to speak the language by absorbing her parents' thoughts
Mhm.
and your thoughts. That's how we learn. So, what we operate in, the informational, the informational matrix of our lives has been given to us after we got born. In the first 6 years, we absorb that. And then that becomes reality. So the thoughts you listen to have been given to you, or you've resisted what they said, and that's been given to you because it started either agreeing with or disagreeing with the culture you grew up in. And so it gets passed on to you. Now, the question is, do you think you are that conversation? Because if you think you're the conversation, then if it says, I don't want to, you don't. See, I've bypassed the conversation for the most part regarding breakfast, regarding dishes. I don't think about it. I woke up this morning. I was home late last night. Woke up this morning, had a cup of coffee with Ariel. She went out for a walk. I went back to sleep. And then I got up and I started preparing breakfast before she got home.
Oh, so nice to walk into the smells of breakfast. Oh my.
And so she didn't want to say the smells of bacon because some
No,
listeners are
well, actually,
yeah,
that's
onions.
that wasn't quite it, because I had two smells, that the bacon, and then I couldn't remember if I smelled the bacon first or I was thinking I smelled the
fried onions.
first, but I realized in retrospect the onions came secondly. So it was like the two thoughts collided rather than my avoiding saying bacon.
Yeah. Oh, and there was arugula and spinach cooking in those eggs with tomatoes and cheese, and then the eggs fell in. And anyway, it was making breakfast is a gas when you're making breakfast. But if you're thinking you should be doing other things, you're not even there to. Did I?
It was
make breakfast?
Really sweet, Mary. We sat at the table, we're eating, we're chatting. I wrestled my attention there so I could actually listen to him, which was awesome. And I got down to like my last little bit of egg, and he looked over and took a piece of sauteed tomato off his plate and placed it on top of my egg so I would have a pretty and tasty final bite of eggs. It was the sweetest moment. Yeah.
That's very sweet. Okay.
Yeah. See that smile that you have?
If you're going somewhere, trying to get somewhere,
or berating yourself for where you haven't gotten to yet, you're not actually seeing where you are
in the current moment. See, it's all about being here. That's why this show is called, or podcast is called Being Here. It's about being in the current moment of your life, not thinking about what you have to do, where you have to get to. Oh, and by the way, that voice you listen to is a survival machine. It's only interested in its own survival. It brings you along because if you die, then it's over. And so it's constantly thinking about possible futures, negative events, rather because positive events you don't have to survive
and
with.
Analyzing how you can become a better you. So I want to circle back around to your initial assertion that when you don't know how to do something, you procrastinate. And I want to come to where you are now. I'm watching you laugh in real time, smile in real time. When you let go of analyzing yourself as if there's something wrong with you, then you can see the times when you're dragging your feet or when you just don't have all the information yet. We're doing this transformational time and project management course in about 10 days. And I've been noticing something. And it really is about what Shya was saying earlier in regards to that rod tip. He did not procrastinate on fixing that. He set aside what he had no intention of doing in that moment, what didn't need to be done in that moment. And then at some point, the conundrum, the question, the how to answers itself in a timely manner. And part of that comes from allowing yourself to bypass that mind's haranguing nature that wants to pick on you and keep engaging. And then you curate the ability to be here, which includes your haranguing mind rather than trying to get rid of it.
That's so helpful. I do see it, and it's like, yeah, okay. And I have options.
And I want you.
Well, actually, you don't have options.
Yeah.
See, that's the mind thinking it has options. You don't have options. You only have what is. And that's the truth of it. You only have what you have in the current moment of your life. And it cannot be different because it's what you have. Thinking it should be different is the mind. That's your voice that tells you it should be different, more, better, different. But that's the conundrum that our world is in. So many people are gathering stuff that they don't need, but they think will make them better.
I have one more thing to say to you, Mary, before we.
That may not be good for jewelry sales. I'm sorry.
That was it's going in my mind. Yes, you need this.
Oh, that's so funny. I was just thinking there's a place down in town that's going out of business that has jewelry. I wanted to go down and look at their jewelry.
Which town?
In Milford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that place?
Yeah. Yeah, so sweet. I don't remember what I was going to say to you, Mary. Oh, I know. You were talking about how we mentioned something to you at the Living Made Easy, or you became aware of the complaint quality in how you present yourself. This is the least complaining I've ever seen you. Bringing awareness to that tendency to complain has been a really, it has relieved you of having to automatically do that. I'm sure it'll come back when it does. But I just want to let you know what a pleasure it's been to be with you today.
I agree.
Thank you. As with you both. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
It's that time.
The time for what?
Our listener feedback spotlight.
What is that?
Well, I'm so proud of the people who listen to this show. And now we get to hear from one or more of them about what's happening in their lives with transformation by listening to this podcast and
what they've discovered about life, what they've discovered about their lives, that they are experiencing fun in their lives.
And that they want to share it with you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm in Oxford, England. I have found my life through transformational seminars, and I invite you to join and discover the beauty and brilliance that is in you without having to do anything to find it.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
You are invited to the next Living Made Easy 2-hour virtual seminars. The next one is this upcoming Monday, and then we have one on Wednesday at 7:30 in the evening, Central European time. So one of those
7:30 on Wednesday, 7:30
evening, yes.
Central European time.
Correct.
Yes.
So chances are we have one coming up in a time zone that would work for you. Our next virtual weekend seminar is Transformational Time and Project Management on the 27th and 28th of September, of course. Then we're heading to Hamburg, Germany.
And there we'll do Speak Up on Thursday, October 23rd. Now, I'm a participant perhaps in that, but not facilitating it. It'll be facilitated by Susan Finch and Ariel. Susan Finch is a renowned
Speech
speech coach, right?
Yes.
And then we're doing the weekend, Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. We're doing practical enlightenment, and that's all in person. And
And you're invited.
Yes.
Also, in New York City, early December, the 5th, 6th, 7th, we're doing the Freedom to Breathe seminar, again, in person in New York City. You can check our website.
and the art of being a healer.
Correct. And sorry, I missed that. Thank you for handling it.
Oh, well, what the hell? I'm here, right?
You're the best. All right. So you can check our schedule and sign up for whatever works for you at Transformation.
MadeEasy.com.
Let's take our next guest.
Yes.
All right, Sweta, welcome to being here. Please tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi there, this is Sweta from Chicago.
Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Nice having you. What can we do for you?
I've been noticing that it's easy, it's comforting to think and have a mental checklist of what I have to do than actually do it. So it's comforting to continue to feel and pick on myself and say, oh, I have to do X, Y, Z, than actually go ahead and do it. So the incompletions.
Well, what would you do if you didn't have something to do?
That's right.
I mean, what kind of person would that make you lazy if you didn't have things to do? Or having things to do keeps you alive. You might die if you didn't have anything to do.
That's true.
I have a question for you. Because we've known you for a period of time, and I've seen you in both states. The one where you think about what you're going to do and you procrastinate about doing the things that you fully intend to do, but you drag them out over time. And then I've also seen when you've fallen into that state of direct action. So as an example, you signed up earlier in the year for our Costa Rican venture in 2026. And you did something that is kind of funny. You put $100 down to save your place. And the first deposit is actually a third of the tuition, but you didn't do that. And then you started going, oh, do I want to go? Should I go? Would I? And you came to Creativity and Intuition with us in August. And you popped into I'm going. And what I was surprised about was not that you popped into your reality, but when I looked at the registration, you paid in full, even though the tuition wasn't fully due until December. What happens? How does that happen? I would love you to articulate that full engagement.
That leap of faith
Because
to go for what you want rather than think of, should I, shouldn't I?
Because you're close. I'm just wondering how that, what shifts, because I think there are people listening who would be really interested for themselves how to shift out of the dragging their feet about what they're planning to do anyway to leap into their greatness.
Good question. I thought about that too, actually. So when I signed up the first time and put the $100 deposit, I did that after an online Zoom seminar that I'd attended. I forget which one that was, but I did that. And then in the last 6-7 months, I've moved to a new city. I used to live in New York. I came out of a relationship. There were a lot of things going on. So in the back of my mind, I was like, yes, I'm going to Costa Rica. Then I got scared with a new job. Can I actually take a whole week off? My family might be coming. So all those reasons, excuses, I let them come on the way. And then I came to New York City for the seminar, the Creativity and Intuition seminar. And I was talking to my friend, Pamela, who I was staying with, and I told her, I haven't signed up fully. I'm deciding to go or not. I'm scared. And then in that moment, she said, once you decide, you can tell your office and people understand. It's 6 months out. You don't need to be scared. And I believed her. It was easy to believe her than to believe myself that I can go. And once I decided in that moment I will go, I just decided to commit and paid in full, and it was taken care of. So it became very easy.
Yes, I appreciate your trusting your friend. Now, here's the thing. You're trustworthy. You can trust yourself, but you've been raised by people who were frightened with life. They were worried they could make a mistake and do it wrong. But if you look at the three principles of instantaneous transformation, in embedded in there is the idea that you can't do your life wrong. Because here's the thing, second principle, you can only be exactly as you are in the current moment of your life. So in this moment, Sweta, you can only be sitting in your office because that's where you are. You can only have the amount of money you have in your bank account because that's what you have. You can only have the relationship or no relationship that you have in life or relationships because you have many relationships. It can only be exactly as it is in the current moment. Now, if that's true, any past moment was once a current moment, and it could have only been the way it was there, too. So life has shown up perfectly, and you've survived. Worry about it or not worry about it, you've still survived. So you might as well enjoy it while you're surviving rather than get lost like a mouse worrying about whether a hawk is going to get it.
That's right. I think I spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah. Well, we all have.
It's interesting though, because you stayed with and you sought advice from a person you already knew was going to tell you to go for it. So I guess the person you can ultimately trust is you.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
I have to tell you, when I was less grounded in my experience of myself, I would call friends that I knew would tell me what I needed to hear and wanted to hear to motivate myself. So well done. It was a good interim step for me until I was willing to just be responsible
But
for
here's
my
the thing.
greatness.
You could also have people enroll you in not going for your life.
Well, you know what you want by what you're inviting.
Well, when we were in San Francisco many years ago, we were at dinner with a fellow that I worked with, and he told me not to embark in an adventure at a meditation center that we were about to go to in Italy. He told me not to do it because he was afraid. And he wanted me to be handicapped like he was by his fear. And it turned out I wasn't, because my life brought me to my life.
But of course, I went to dinner with him and with me. And at that moment, I told the man that he thought he was giving friendly advice, but he was the least friendly person I knew, that he wasn't being a friend to Shya. He wasn't endorsing Shya's greatness. He was trying to keep him limited. So it worked out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a very good story. Yeah, I'm glad I stayed with the Stearns, and so yes, I decided to stay with them.
Well, look, see, here's the thing. This thing called enlightenment is feeling good being you, and that's not normal. Most people don't feel good being them. Well, this is your only life. You might as well enjoy it.
I'm so glad you said this, because I've been going in and out of it. Earlier, there was very little of feeling good being me. 90% of the time, it's feeling really good being me. There is that 10% when I start thinking and it's,
Can I
oh,
stop you right there?
yeah,
Because you came to your own answer. You said, when I start thinking, see, when you're interacting with your life directly, it isn't that you don't think, but it's when you go into a neutral or idle zone where you're not fully engaged in what you're doing, your thoughts show up and they are mechanical. And you've had those thoughts before, and a lot of them are self-defeating and tell you can't, or you're not good enough, you're not enough, or you're not beautiful. See, when I look at you, I see this amazingly beautiful woman. When you look at you, you find pores.
yeah, that's right.
I mean,
You know, the other thing too, Sweta, is when you're not feeling well about yourself, yes, it's really frequently follows a disengagement in a thought process. That's the majority of the time, but there's also other potential aspects. One is if you're not feeling well about yourself, it's informational. And it could be like Shya and I the other night went to dinner and then we went to run an errand and I just suddenly felt awful. And I realized we were going the wrong direction. We did not need to do that errand. And when I'm like, we need to go home, and he turned the car, I said it right before the turn
that would take us home.
As opposed to continue on this errand. Something in me really relaxed. The other aspect is this: from time to time, I link up with people who I'm associated with. So it's like 21 flavors of ice cream. Am I feeling dismissive of myself in a flavor that reminds me of the way Sweta is being unkind to herself? And if I allow for it and don't take it personal and I'm easy on myself, I feel that it's very likely that Sweta will be easy on herself at the same time too. So I can either be hard on myself or I can include it as information and not make it mean anything.
That is so cool.
Yes. So I know that when we're done today, you're going into a meeting. And if you suddenly feel tongue-tied or nervous, you could either be, oh, I'm tongue-tied and nervous, or you could go, I wonder who I'm meeting, who I might could help put at ease today.
I love that because that happens often when I go on dates or when I go to meet people that I've not met at work before. It's I pick on those, how they are feeling really quickly. And sometimes that feeling takes over me. And when I'm really aware and in the moment, I become aware that it's their feeling and I don't let it absorb me altogether.
Yeah, and if you don't judge it, then you're not judging them. And then before you know it, they're feeling relaxed too.
Very cool.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for being with us
Yes.
today. Really, really a treat having you. And I loved you being able to articulate how you made a leap into your greatness, because people could be listening to this trying to get rid of this problem they have, or they could recognize they can leap.
Yeah, that's true. At the end of the seminar, when we were in New York, after we were done, I realized having incompletions in various things that I had started was a way of feeling comfortable when I didn't want to see my life. If those all completed, then I would have to feel what I was feeling and move forward. So that was groundbreaking for me. So
Yes, that's brilliant.
I love you. You just slipped in information. People were probably like, what? Okay, that was great. Well done.
Well done.
See, people sometimes think they tune in to hear us. They actually tuned in to hear Sweta.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And if you missed it, you can play it again.
there you go. In fact, you can subscribe to this podcast. It can be downloaded. You can play it anytime. You can share it with your friends. And by the way, if you haven't done this already, subscribe to our newsletter. There are great blogs. There are videos of the month. It's quite a wonderful vehicle. You can find all our courses, sign up for the newsletter, and even join Sweta in Costa Rica by going to transformationmadeeasy.com. But a simple reminder or caveat to that is if you want to go to Costa Rica with us in 2026, you need to attend a weekend seminar first as the prerequisite. So again, you can find all that.
Yeah, we want to
Transformation.
meet you before we meet you in Costa Rica.
There you go. By the way, next week's podcast, really a fun one. It's one that was generated out of the Creativity and Intuition seminar. Mustard, ketchup, and mayo. Oh my, so many options for my fries. It's all about how you can't do your life wrong. So if you want to join us next week,
Please
come
do.
on back.
And don't miss being here.